Welcome to Center Heist Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe down below in your right hand corner. Muchly appreciated. Thank you to my subscribers and followers of the channel. I muchly appreciate your support. Tell your friends and family about it and share the channel with others. If you come across the channel, please don't leave without subscribing and hitting the likes, as we muchly appreciate all support of growing this channel, which has been in business over 2 years, and we've built a channel here that is built on integrity of sticking to reviews. And again, we'll be doing a lot more in the future as we are dealing with working on newer software, and so there will be some live stuff coming eventually. I don't want to really put a time frame on that. A lot going on as now I'm preparing for a move, so there's a lot of things happening. It's gotten extremely busy. So thank you for that, and please share the video. And yeah, we tend to stick to factual information and do reviews. All right, so we're going to get to it. It's February 2nd, and we had the Habs going into Anaheim, hoping that there would be a change to snap the bleeding that's been going on for the Habs. And not a good scenario here. Uh, Again, I think a lot of people would have thought the Habs would win this game. However, take nothing for granted, and they had a hold of this game, and then they blew it. Had a good first period, and here it is. Final score is 3-2 for the Ducks. So a game that would have been probably the best one out of the road trip to get. It's kind of concerning now. Although, remember, I never expected personally myself the Habs to be in the playoff picture anyway, but they sure are falling, and may have just fallen far enough out now to being in the wild card hunt. This might have been a dagger enough to now have pushed them far enough out. There's just too many teams in the battle, and they've dropped substantially now with 4 or 5 games. All right, so let's get to the summary. Box score: 2 goals to nothing, all positive in the first period. Second period, I don't know what team decided to step onto the ice, but the Habs sort of, again, these second periods, it's like they play a period that's a half decent, then they disappear. And then the same thing, they just don't seem to know how to put a game away. Third period. So anyway, second period, 2 goals for Anaheim, none for the Habs, and 1 goal for Anaheim in the third to finish off the Habs with a comeback. Dossel was in nets for Anaheim, and Montembeault was in for us. And Killorn got the game-winning goal, and he was probably the first. And now I see that, yes, he was the first star of the game. Definitely was. His experience definitely helped Anaheim resurge and take this game. 1 goal and 1 assist. He was the first star with a +2. Uh, Bertrano had an all right game for them. He was the second star. He had a goal, and he was even on the plus-minus. Lacombe was the third star, and he was a -1. Kind of surprised on him being the third star, but anyway. Scoring summary: 10:35. Yoel Armia gets a beauty in front of the net. A nice pass across from Jake Evans, shorthanded, with Yoel Armia made no mistake, bringing the puck back from the backhand to his forehand, beating Dossel. And then at 14:57, Montreal gets a power play goal with Christian Davorak, who definitely was Montreal's best player tonight. And people are so quick to crap on him all the time. Give him the credit when he's due it as well. So there was no doubt he was our best forward tonight, assisted by Mike Matheson and Alex Newhook on the power play. So our special teams was all right tonight. Second period comes 13:37. Mason Matavish, assisted by Killorn and Leo Carlson. And then we got at 14:17. They tie it up. and Verantro assisted by Strom and Zegras. And then the third period, completing the comeback and overtaking the game, Killorn with his 11th, assisted by Carlson. Carlson should have been a star in my books, too. He had a strong game. All right, so the shots were well within reason, very close. When we go to game stats, 23-22 for the Habs. Hits, we got out hit massively, 23-11. Faceoffs won, 29-18 for the Habs. Power play goals, 1 for 4 for the Habs, 0 for 4. Excuse me, for Anaheim. And penalty minutes, 13 apiece. Giveaways, 9 for the Habs, 3 for Anaheim. Takeaways, 5 apiece. Block shots, 20-14 for Anaheim. This was, again, um, we started off so well. And it seems to be the old story. It seems to be the adage. This has been happening quite a bit to the Habs. We get a view of them thinking, oh, maybe they came to play tonight. They looked half decently sharp in the first period. A lot of bad calls, though, in this game. Officiating was very questionable. There's a lot of missed calls on the Habs that should have been called against the Habs, like against the opposition, Anaheim, who definitely had infractions on the Habs that weren't called, and then we'd have an infraction on Anaheim that was identical, and we're called on it. So these are some of these things, but Montreal cannot use that as an excuse. They did not come out to play in the second or the third to the degree they needed to play. They did not show the signs of desperation. I don't know what's wrong with these guys. I don't want to hear the lines from them. They're tired. The first goal was really shocking, actually. It was lazy, a bit of two guys you don't normally get to pin it on a lot of times, and it was a error with Yoel Armia coming behind the net there on the left side, which, if you're facing it, though, would be the right side. And he didn't have his man in the corner, and when the pass went up to, I believe it was Killorn, Jake Evans didn't have his man, didn't have him at all, and so he walked right in, and then the shot was tipped by McTavish. So totally on Evans, who didn't have his man, which was it particularly wasn't the greatest game for Evans and Armia tonight. Um, Probably more so Evans, which is kind of shocking. You usually get a lot more from him. We had Jack Eye go at it with Johnson, which seemed to be a fairly even tilt, although Jack Eye was trying to drag Johnson down. He actually went down, lost his footing. Uh, didn't seem like much of a fight to me. I don't know if the timing was right to take that fight if I'm Jack Eye. Did it give them momentum? Makes you wonder. Not, there's just, I don't know. To me, I don't know if I would have bothered taking that one at that time, but it wasn't going to be the end all be all. Um, wasn't, didn't make, thankfully, it didn't come back to bite him, so that was good. But it definitely put a lot more work on his defense, the defenseman. But either way, we've had defensemen taking, like Doc taking bad penalty. He's got to get out of that groove. But I got to tell you, I don't know, man. And then we had the second goal. Whereas, was it the second or the third? Um, anyway, we have Lane coasting, not taking his man in, and Savard being beat, and it's in the net, right? Just no coverage. Kirby Doc missing his he missed on one of them, whether it was the second or third goal. I can't remember exactly. It was one of the two. So there was missed plays like that. In New Hook standing around in one play. Slavkovsky, I wasn't pleased with that all tonight. No intensity whatsoever. And I'm so bloody tired of his one-handed stick thing. Can somebody glue? I had somebody close to me mention that, and to get them, when they played, glue tape the hand to the stick, the glove, so he can't take it off. And maybe that's what they got to do to Slav, because this all he's doing. He's not using his body in the defensive zone. This He's got this idea of reaching in, and you're going to lose the battle that way. And that's why he's not winning defensive battles. I mean, good to see that he's trying to do something, and it's just not effective. And until somebody gets that through his head, he's going to have problems. Davorak seems to have the odd mess up with not staying on his man or picking up the man. Like, missed assignments tonight's were the cost of this game. And normally we don't see Evans and Armia in that, and they missed assignments on that first goal. And same thing with Cologne, was just the timing was right. They made Montreal pay. Three guys out in front, and Carrier not in the right position for that. And I think the puck went off his stick and beat Monty. Now, like I've been saying, I don't think we're getting the sharpest goaltending by any means. From 'em, but same token, you can't put these losses on the goaltenders. It's really the team. Is just looks like they give up in front of the goaltenders. As far as we are headed in the right direction. It's a young team. The standing around stuff, the Lane's got to get his button gear. He's just ineffective 5-on-5. Um, Great power play for us, but we haven't even got him working on that working, because they cover that spot so well now, with seeing the tape on him. So it's almost like that's not even coming through for him anymore. But his 5-on-5, he has some good moments, and then he has some sluggish moments where he gave up, like I say, on one of those goals when it was walked in, and where Savard was beaten, and then Doc didn't stay with the man in front of the net. So, the combination, you're having a combination of players being caught at a position, and it's just position. They're not playing positional properly. They're not getting their assignments. They're losing them. It just looks like they're disorganized again. Again, sad to see that, but I don't know what else to say. Nice to see Jack Eye a bit physical, but again, yeah, it is what it is. Again, defense. Yeah, it was nothing to write home about. Let's just say there's nothing. This was a very bland, boring game. On as far as if you're a Canadians fan, there was just no pushback. Little shots here and there, just not enough pushback. Nobody driving the net. Um, the big bodies is what I'd like to see more of. It's you got to get these. Like you got to get. Like I said, Slab. Where's the physical play? He needs to be physical. His feet need to be moving, and the two hands got to be on the stick. I'm so frustrated. I love this kid, and I do think he'll be all right in the future. But right now, he's very disappointing. He comes on with a couple points, which was good to see, but he didn't even do that now. Again, though, there's just it's the effort, and he knows what he needs to do by now. He's not a baby. I know he's young, but same thing happens with Doc and Anderson being big boys. You got to go to the net. You got to crash the net, and there's just not enough of it. And sometimes we're seeing our defensemen doing a better job of trying to create a little bit of havoc in front of the net. You've seen that was from Jack Eye tonight. I've seen it from Carrier, and Matheson. Periodically. And that's because there's a lack of it from our offense. And now here's a funny thing. On that fourth line, Pizzetta didn't have too bad of a game. This was one of the better showings for him. Nothing, nowhere's near where it needs to be, but much better than what it's been. So a positive. But this team has got no bite, and it's got to change. There's no way this team is getting into a wild card spot. They have lost that now. You can't go on a 5-game losing streak, which it is now, I believe. They're done. This is done. The season's over. I think we got our answer. You can't beat Anaheim. You're not going to beat the tougher teams like Jersey and Tampa coming up. And I don't even know if we can beat the Sharks in the next game. We're just not playing well, and I don't want to hear, oh, we're fatigued. Every NHL team has the same thing to deal with. It's not an excuse. It's not acceptable. And I honestly, actually, right at this moment, I don't always feel this way, but right now, it doesn't seem to matter who's in the net, in the sense that we don't have the team's just not playing in front of them. And here I am, and I'm positive about Jake Evans and Armia most of the time. Those are two guys I would sign, because I think we're really seeing the effects of not having Emil Heineman like a solid fourth line complete. That's been apparent right from the day that guy was out of the lineup, because they were the most effective line on the Habs. And line one didn't impress me. Line two didn't impress me. Davorak was by far, hands down, the best player on the ice tonight for Montreal, on the probably on the team. Sorry, there's no more than I can say than that. That being said, there's not much positive I can say about this game. Extremely disappointing. If you can't beat Anaheim, being one of the lower teams in the league, you got problems. You got problems. So I'm projecting Montreal will probably be somewhere between 8th to 10th from the bottom of the bottom 10. So that's what I figure. I think that surge, they might have been just playing a little over their head. So it looked great, but now when teams had to buckle down, they're just not up to that. They're not that good yet. I do think it'll resolve itself a bit when we have Demidov added to actually have a real second line, because Newhook doesn't belong there, in my opinion. I know Marty was rotating players, but there was just no sense of urgency enough, other than from Dvorak, in my opinion, and Galley. Those were, to me, the main two guys that showed any sense of urgency overall. You had a little bit from Evans and Armia, but you had a couple errors from them, which we normally don't get. So that was kind of disappointing. But when you can't, this is happening far too often. They get a lead, they just don't know how to close it, and then they blow it, and the team comes back. But again, if you're going to do that with Anaheim, you got problems. So with that being said, thank you for watching. But hey, at least it's been, they at least brought themselves up to respectability, back in December and part of January. But now it's slipping away from us again. Anyway, it'll be a better year next year, I'm sure. So thank you for watching. We will do a review on the Sharks game. I sure hope we get a chance to see a better Montreal Canadiens team for 60 minutes. Don't come out just they got to stop just coming out in the first period teasing the fan. And then the second period, they just got god awful second periods. Anyway, it is what it is. This team needs some waking up, and they need to stop the excuses of fatigue. It just doesn't wash. Thank you for watching. You've seen it here at Center Heights Productions. God bless.